Every so often, you meet a thoughtful architect and strategist, someone who is able to convert technology and actually make it human-centered, someone who can actually look at the human design and look at pedagogy and all the things tied to adult learning theory and actually make it make sense for organizations. That person, at least to me, is Traci. And not only is she a Workday architect, but she's also my friend. Traci, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lee.
I'm so glad to have you. I'm so glad to be in Charlotte.
Yes,
Y'all
welcome.
crazy
again.
weather here in Charlotte. Okay.
Yes, even though I don't get to see you very often, I'm always following you, and I'm very excited that I get a few minutes to just sit down with you and have this conversation.
I appreciate it. So, Traci, people want to know who is Traci? Now, we see you all around. We've seen you in the Workday ecosystem for over a decade.
Yes, since 2014.
So, who is Traci?
Oh, wow. I wish I had a little bit more time to think about that. But no, when I really think about myself in the context of this work that we do, and, I like to think of myself as the sense maker of things. So for most of my career, I've been helping companies and their employees make sense of new and disruptive technologies.
Wow.
Right? And so whether that's going back to the very early years where I'm helping individuals learn Windows and how to use a mouse. I've been in this game a very long time. Now, here we are with AI and helping companies make sense of what do we do with this new technology. And so, I really think of myself as being that bridge between the technology and the people that use it.
I heard you say earlier a sense maker. So you're like the Duolingo of Workday transfer. We convert it to any language you need.
Exactly. And that's generally what happens is, oftentimes people will get attracted to the technology first, but they're really not sure how to make it make sense for their organization and for their people and their business goals.
When you think about business goals, what have you seen, especially over the last couple of years, that are really a key focus of organizations tied to their business goals or KPIs right now?
So in the work that I do, I see a lot of need for efficiency and productivity. And there's this need to want to automate as much as possible to drive that. And underlying that is often growth. And then I'm seeing this need for innovation, as well as trying to provide a great experience. So I work with a lot of HR leaders, and the employee experience is something that's is a value to them.
When you think about, the employee experience, when you think about what organizations are really focused on right now, what have you found be some of the key things there?
Right. Yeah. So with the employee experience, that is something that organizations are realizing that their employees are not only asking for, but in some instances demanding, right. To have that great experience. And so how do you take advantage of the technologies to provide that delightful experience, to provide an experience that makes an employee feel like a valued member of the organization? So technology can go a long way in helping that, but it's not the only way. It's not going to get you all the way there.
It's not going to get you all the way there. So you've worn the hats of technologist and architect and even advisor, right? How do you balance designing scalable systems or even recommending scalable systems tied to the human needs behind it?
Well, the way that I like to do that is lead with people first. And very often people will put the technology first and then try to bring the people along. But what I would recommend is that you really start with your people. And
I hear that, start with y'all people.
Start with the people.
Start with the people.
Because they're really going to be the ones that bring that technology to life. Because you can spend a lot of time and a lot of money implementing technology, but if no one uses it or no one uses it the way you want them to use it, you're really not going to get the benefit.
It's just a very expensive car.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive car. I mean, I try to tell folks, whether it's ADP, whether it's Workday, whether it's Kronos, whether it's UKG, whether it's whatever it is, it's a car. It's a vehicle that helps you get from point A to point B. Now, the quality of that car might be different across systems, but it's still a car. It's the people driving it that really need to buy in and also be exposed to that change. So that's important.
And that's another important piece you bring up about the analogy of the car and the type of car. Not everyone needs a top of the line
That's
car.
right.
Some people just need a very reliable Corolla. And if that is,
Shout out to Toyota. I think y'all have Workday.
or and so that scalability,
Mhm.
understanding, what is the right scale for me, what is the right size for me when it comes to technology. All of that really does lead back to your people and how do you want them to interact with that and get work done.
Yeah, I once implemented Workday for a 45, 50 person company.
Wow.
And I thought, I think you all could have did this in Excel. Now, I'm not promoting Excel, but was it the right vehicle for them? There were things in there. I mean, I think their team supporting it was 1/4 of the organization when you put it in numbers because of the small size. So was it the right vehicle for them? No, it actually turned out not to be. They actually went to another system later, many years down the line, but it actually shows that just because you can purchase a thing or can have a thing, you still have to have some restraint and have
Absolutely.
the right car in place.
So that goes back to my saying that I love
Yeah.
to share is, fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And very
Mm,
often people get distracted by the new shiny thing. And I
yes.
want this technology because someone else said I should have it. But if you're not really clear on what is the problem you're trying to solve in your business, you may find yourself with an
An
oversized car.
expensive car.
Very
An
expensive.
expensive car. So, what's one Workday transformation project that taught you the most, either through challenge or through breakthrough?
Mm, that was a tough one. I'm going to take your question and maybe
Feel
tweak it a
free.
little bit, right? So
Make it make
maybe it
sense
wasn't
for me.
even make it make sense. And I would say the most impactful transformation project I ever did was not Workday, but it was actually my first transformation project.
Mm,
And this is going to date me, but this is going back to the 1990s.
okay.
And and we didn't even know, or I didn't even realize that there was a thing called transformation or change management. But I knew that we had this opportunity in the organization to bring store managers. I was working for a retailer,
Okay.
and we were introducing them to Windows. As I've mentioned, they had been using mainframe up until that time. And so we were having to teach them everything from how to use a mouse to how to navigate File Explorer to how to use Outlook in email instead of just using commands. And what that really taught me was the importance of making technology relevant to the work that you do. We could have spent a lot of time showing them how to do all these wonderful things in Windows,
Right.
opening up this new world to them. But what they really needed to know was, how do I use this for my job? And so what that
That makes
taught me
sense.
early on was, here are certain things that you have to have for a transformation, no matter what the technology is. You have to have clear expectations on how to use it. You have to make sure you're providing the right education for folks. You have to give them a good user experience, and you have to have empathy for them as they're transitioning to a new way of working.
I think you actually hit on a word that I've seen kind of cascading across the last couple of years, is that empathetic, or empathy, having empathy for people that are being asked to change, people who are navigating the change, almost facilitating the change, but also what happens after the change, and actually having empathy throughout that entire process. I think sometimes as leaders, folks just say like, "Oh, they should just do it because I said it." But how often have you been driving? I love cars, y'all. I love cars. Been driving, home from work, and there's a detour. I go into a frenzy. The mere fact that I'm having to change directions, I didn't account for this. I didn't see this, in my Waze app. I didn't see this in my forecast, and so I'm being asked to do something that I, in many cases, have no choice around. It's a detour. I just have to do it. And so that it's a lot. A lot of times, that's what's happening when a person or an organization is implementing a system. Someone at the top has decided, and that detours what everyone else thought the year was going to look like. It detours what everyone else thought the next few months was going to look like by way of the implementation. So I like that empathy word.
And that goes back to the human element of this, right?
Mm,
Is recognizing that you are dealing with people that have feelings and emotions and
And
fears and lives.
We got
And,
lives.
and they are often asking themselves, where do I fit into this picture? So if you're bringing in new technology, is that going to impact my job? Am I going to lose my job? Is my job going to change? Am I going to be successful? There's always a lot of change happening. You get change fatigue. How do
I know all
we,
about that one.
all about that one, and how do we help the users of what this new technology going to be feel very comfortable with how this is going to change the way that they work?
I love that. So, what does being a Workday technologist or change management person, what does that actually mean in practice?
So I would say what it means in practice to me is that I'm always learning. You have got to always be not only this lifelong learner, but you have to be almost a student yourself of Workday. The technology is always changing. So for me as a consultant, I have to stay on top of that. So part of what I do is I'm keeping my eye open for what's next and thinking about how can this be applied to real world examples. So that's the part for me that being a technologist or a consultant in Workday. But when I'm working with customers, I often will lead with conversations that are technology agnostic
I love that.
because we really want to understand, what are we going to be using this technology for? What problem are we solving? Or what pain point are we trying to ease? What avenues are we trying to open up for growth or for innovation? And so it often starts with, what are you doing today and what's not working? And understanding that, and then making recommendations for how the technology can fill those gaps.
Love it. So, this season we're doing something a little new. Okay. You get to ask me one question, one burning question before we go into rapid fire. The floor is
Right.
yours.
So I guess the question that I have for you, you are a man of many, many talents, activities. How do you do it all? How do you find that balance with all of the things that you're juggling?
Oof. I needed the pre notes. um, my grandmother says a phrase, it comes from the Bible, and she has done a spin-off of it, but she says, to whom much is given, much is required. That's Bible. But she says, you cannot ask for the given unless you're willing to do what's required. A lot of times we want these things. We want to have an impact. We want to be influential. We want to be the person who knows all about this specific topic, but that requires something. It doesn't mean that I get to, you know, actually I would phrase it this way. Sometimes my friends are doing things I want to do, but I am doing things that I have to do. If I want to be an expert in Workday or in Smartsheet or in Monday.com or in Invigate, it means I'm spending my time and my focus on those things. But most importantly, I have a pretty incredible support system at home that also helps to give me grace and the space to do the things that really give me joy. Um, so yeah, I think that's really it. We all have 24. Every decision that we make in those 24 hours are or should be what's most important to us. And so I don't fault anyone. I actually promote people balancing in the way that they need to. My balance is my brain, as I think we've discussed this before. I can sleep and dream about a solution and wake up and go write it down really quick. It's just something that I've always done. And so it feels normal to me. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's working well for you.
I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to move into 2 minutes of
Okay.
rapid fire. Now, Tracy, here are the rules of the road. It's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
No takebacks.
Ah,
No takebacks.
okay.
All right. So, if your life was a movie, what would it be called?
Ooh. Um, um,
All right. So we're going to move on. Most underrated Workday module.
Learning.
Okay. What's the tech buzzword you secretly love or love to hate?
Mm, synergy.
Oh my gosh. I have stories about that one. What's your workday superpower?
Understanding that implementation does not equal transformation.
Implementation does not equal transformation. Y'all heard it here. Finish the sentence. A successful go live feels like.
The beginning, because that's exactly what it
That's
is.
exactly what it is. I have found that most of the time, once people go live, they become my best friends afterwards because we begin to talk for the next 3 to 6 months afterwards. Favorite consulting war room snack or coffee order?
Mm, I love a London fog.
What is that? It sounds expensive.
It's a Earl Grey tea
Okay.
with lavender.
You can only bring 3 tools to a Workday implementation. What are they?
I'm going to say an open mind,
Okay.
um, a good Excel workbook.
Okay. We're here for Excel. Okay.
Oh
We
my
would prefer
goodness.
Smartsheet, but we'll take Excel. Okay.
Well, a spreadsheet,
A
right?
spreadsheet.
So
Okay.
yes, a spreadsheet. And the other thing, I'm bringing a decision making model.
I love that. And the last question. What do you hope people feel or remember after working with you, even if it's just once?
Wow, I wasn't expecting that question at all. I want people to feel like they've been heard and that their concerns about whatever it is have either been addressed by another person or addressed by the technology itself. But I want them to go away feeling like they matter.
I love that. Well, y'all, we have reached the conclusion. Let's go with a Southwest quote. We know you have many choices when you fly. Thank you for hanging out and spending some time with us on 15 Minutes with. Bye.